still pretty top heavy, right, in this conference. Number one, I think there are probably four teams, if we're being honest. If you count Michigan as one of the four potential playoff teams. Beyond that, it would be a stretch, in my opinion, right? And everybody's pointing to Penn State. I still think they have plenty to prove. Drew Aller, I'm not convinced. But to me, my biggest takeaway, number one, was they love the young talent on this team. And everybody says, yeah, we're going to be better this year. There's no question about it. But wait for years 2 and 3 of the Bryce Underwood era. Then we're going to be lights out and competing for national championships. So that was number one. Number two, how much respect they have for Chip Lindsey as the offensive coordinator. This guy's kind of proven himself everywhere he's been. Last year, he had a 1,000-yard rusher, a 1,500-yard rusher, in the second year in a row that it was 1,300 or more. He knows that Sharon wants to run the ball, AB, and that's exactly what they're going to do. But he also has a plan when it comes to getting the ball to the playmakers. Everybody says it, right? Even Josh Gaddis in the back in the day, speed and space and all that crap. But Chip Lindsey, we've seen it. Scheming receivers open. I asked him, we did a Q&A for the football preview, and he said, it still comes down to guys making contested catches, AB, but we have a few more guys that can do that. So, and then I think one of the things that I really took from it was I think Michigan's got the best defense in the Big Ten, and I think defense travels, and I think they feel really, really good about that side of the ball if they can shore up the secondary just a little bit. If Rod Moore is healthy, sounds like he's still on track. He still had some pain in June, but he's coming back, and he said he's going to be back by August. So people who want to read about that can read about that in the football preview too. So overall, I think this is a year where people look at the schedule and they say, well, if ever you had a schedule to make a run, this is it. But then I look at those games on the road, and I look at Nebraska, and I look at USC, which is going to be a tough one. I don't care what anybody says, right? At Michigan State, is that going to be tricky? They're not very good, but you never know. So to me, this is a 9-3 team. If they go 10-2, they make the playoff. I wouldn't put it past them, but overall, AB, the sense that I got is that they're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I'll start with Michigan first. I would agree with you on all that. I think a lot of it too, especially the offense, the defense is going to do the heavy lifting this year, right? Like Michigan is going to go, I won't say as far as they can take them, because that was a good defense last year that was held back in some games because it was on the field longer than it needed to be. The offense is going to be what determines the ceiling now. And if it's the offensive line doesn't come together and maybe Bryce Underwood isn't quite ready and the wide receivers aren't what it needs to be yet, could they be an 8-4 team? I think that's within the range of outcomes, but I think that they have the ingredients to one. I think you talk about them having the best defense in the Big Ten, and I'd have to think about that. I think they're certainly up there, at least at worst, a top 3 defense in my opinion. But I think what you do have that could be the best in the Big Ten is the 1-2 punch that you have at running back, and that's going to be, to me, the engine that powers this team, this offense this year, and what they're able to do off the run game, and how they're able to maybe spoon feed and make things easy for the passing game. And Bryce Underwood, I think Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall, it's, we said coming to last year, Donovan Edwards and Khalil Mullings are 1A and 1B, but we saw that, fluctuate, and obviously Khalil was the better back of the two. I do truly think that you have two guys that can be lead backs that are going to set a tone and be, whatever defenses do to react to those guys being a factor, it's going to open things up for Bryce Underwood. It's going to open things up for the passing game. If your offensive line, I think, is even just average, I think, obviously Michigan has a much higher bar than that, but if you can put together an average offensive line, I think this is going to be a darn good football team that is able to complement what the defense does, and the defense will be better because of the offense being able to at least string some drives together and finishing drives with points. You're going to be able to do that with a guy like Dominic Zavada. You're a lot more comfortable when you have a guy who can hit field goals from 60 yards out and whatnot. So I think the pieces are there for them to set a good baseline early and continue to kind of peel the layers back of that offense. For the conference at large, I think you're right in that there's this group at the top, and I do think that Michigan is in that group. I picked them to go 10-2, and I get the way that the schedule worked out. I have them in the Big Ten championship game against Penn State. I think Penn State will win the Big Ten, but there's that group of 4 at the top where you've got Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, and I'm willing to throw Michigan into that group. I think they're going to push for that spot.